How do you know which DRA to begin with?
Well, for Riley, I picked a DRA level 12. And the reason I did that is because I had noticed on these particular books that was a level 12 that she was independent. And by independent, I mean that Riley was able to read these with higher than 90% accuracy. She was able to do it pretty fluently, and she was able to understand what she read when I asked her to retell it. So that told me it was time to see if she was independent on that, and that's why I picked that DRA.
How often do you DRA a student?
Not as often as you'd think. I start at the beginning of the year, and I DRA each student so I know exactly where they are. And then my running record on these books gives me a lot of information. So I actually use a DRA as what I would call an interim assessment, meaning that I just do it maybe on a child like Riley 3 times a year, maybe 4 times a year. Every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, because my running record gives me that good information.
Based on this DRA, what are you going to do tomorrow?
Well, I'm excited to start a guided reading group with Riley and her peers that are in her group. There's 3 of them. And I think I'm ready to go on to this particular book, which is going to be a DR or a level 14. Because remember, I DRA'd her at a level 12, and she was independent. We're going to work on retail, because we'll talk about that DRA, and I think that retail is an area that she can grow in. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try a level 14, because that's, I think, where she is instructionally. Not independent, but instructional.
So what do you do with a student who doesn't want to learn?
You know, I do occasionally run into that, and usually the reason that a student doesn't want to learn, in my experience, is that they feel unsuccessful. It's embarrassing. Oftentimes they're given work that is too hard for them, and it's discouraging to do work that's too hard for them. And I'm hoping that we can kind of look at one of my little guys. He is struggling a little bit. He's not at the same place that the other kids are, and so I need to really differentiate his work so that he feels successful with it and that it's appropriate for him. You know, the other thing is that constant encouragement. You're a rock star, you're great, and that's, you know, something we take for granted. That every child comes ready to learn. They're just learning different things. And the fact that he's learning something different doesn't make him a poor learner. He's a great learner. And to really encourage him and really let him know that he's a great learner. And that really helps with that motivation, along with making work appropriate for him.